Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another awkward intro. I feel like these intros wouldn't be as awkward if I didn't always say how awkward they make me feel, but I always feel like I have to give I feel like I have to speak what's actually going on, and that's the fact that videos are really hard for me to start. But you know, I get on the bike, that's a saying, and then I get going and it's all good. But today I am here, just like the title says, to talk to you about my postpartum journey and what's really been going on for me postpartum. I have mentioned to you guys in my day in my life videos that I have like a list of videos that I want to film and put out fairly soon in life. Things like my breastfeeding journey, things like how I prepared for labor, that's been requested a lot. Just like a few things, how I run my online business. There's a few different things. And Logan's update, because he's about to be 2 months, and so I want to do like an update video. Anyways, today I felt like it was appropriate to maybe kick off, this isn't a series, but the series of chatty videos I'm about to film with kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like an update, just telling you guys about what postpartum has been like for me. And the reason why I wanted to kick it off with this is because I've been really moved, if that's the word, by a lot of your comments that I've been getting on my videos. And I actually got a comment last night that was like, I don't want to be dramatic and be like, it was heartbreaking. I also don't want to play down the pain within this person's comment. But it kind of broke my heart. And it made me just feel like I really need to talk to you guys about what postpartum has been like for me. Because I think there's a little bit of a disconnect. I know there's a little bit of a disconnect with what I show in my day in my life videos versus what is really going on in my life. My day in my lives are real, they're authentic, but I have like this passion for sharing beauty, for sharing things that I love, things that are beautiful. I already said that, but like I enjoy creating that kind of content. And so it's not that content is a lie, because it's not. I've said that like 3 times now. But it's not always the full picture of what's going on. And last night, the comment that I got from someone, and I've actually gotten a few comments like this person was basically just like, wow, I'm so happy for you and your recovery and your, new life with your baby, and that you've healed so well. She was like, I sometimes cry while changing my baby's diaper because that's painful. Like doing basic day-to-day things with my baby hurts my body. And the reason that it was heartbreaking, besides the fact that I was just like, that's just sad, I'm like, I'm sorry, was that she was very much saying the comment from like, I'm so glad that's not the case for you. And I just felt like I have to talk about this because I have been dealing with a lot of pain. And I want to just kind of like share what that's looked like for me. Now, I'm not the greatest in the world at like talking about sad things per se. I always wish that I could be one of those YouTubers that could like get on camera and cry, not for drama's sake per se, but because I cry in real life. I get upset and sad in real life, but I have this weird thing where like in general, when I'm like with people, I like don't ever cry. Something really upsetting could be going on and I'm like, and then like later I cry. I tend to just be like a crier by myself, or like with Dan, or like growing up as a kid, it was with my family. I don't know, I just kind of like shut down, but I want to be authentic. So I'm going to share, but it might seem a little disconnected. I'm not going to be crying is the point. But it's been hard. I also, along with that disclaimer at the beginning, I think the thing about me and these chatty videos is I like to just sit and like kind of mind dump and talk. I take a couple of notes, but I'm not that great at taking notes. If you've been following my channel for a long time, I even made an experiment at one point where like I pre-wrote my videos and I would like read them like a script. Like I've tried a bunch of different things, and I've just found that the most enjoyable for me, and I think the most effective, is really just when I mind dump and I just jot a couple of points down that I want to try to remember to hit. I know, excuse me, drinking my tea by the way, I know I'm still gonna forget a couple things because I'm always like, man, I should have added that. But we're just gonna do this is the point. Let's talk first about what it's been like for me to be a mom. I'm an official mommy now. I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and I was telling her this because the night before is when I had said this to Dan. I guess I just want to open this by sharing this part because this has been the most like, whew, to me. As you guys know, I mean, Dan and I have been married, we've been married 12 years now. We passed 12 years a couple of weeks ago. And I have been, getting text from a friend. I've been scared to have kids that whole time. I mean, you guys know if you follow my journey, I thought I wasn't going to have biological children because I deal with a lot of chronic pain, and I just thought that having a baby that way was going to mess my body up. Also, I had a different perspective on adoption and foster care at the time, and I was under the impression that there were just all these babies that just needed homes, and it was like, I don't know, I fast forwarding, yes, there is some cool bond about blood. It's crazy looking at my son and being like, I see my husband and I see me. But I had the thought, and I still have this thought, I mean, my brother's adopted, that blood is not, I mean, dude, you get married and you love that person so much. So blood is not what creates love in my mind. So, I just thought, like, why not? Why would I put my body through this and become a more annoying person to be around? Because that's something that, like, I can struggle with sometimes, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the pain stuff, is not only dealing with my own pain, like what I'm feeling, but feeling like I'm putting a burden on other people, specifically Dan. Like, I just want to be like this happy, vibrant, like fun, flirty wife and mom. And so I just thought, like, why would I put my body through that if I know I'm going to come out the other end, like, I don't even know what the word is, like a witch, My mind obviously changed. You guys, if you follow all my stuff, you know that there was a process to that. And side note, some of you are maybe still a little unclear. I don't know if it's because you haven't seen all my videos or if it's because I never really laid it out just like completely specifically, because I forget what I say on the internet. On a side note, like, someone commented recently, like, who's glad that Nikki didn't name Logan Spike? And I was like, when did I tell you guys that we were considering the name Spike? Like, I just blabber on the internet and I forget what I say sometimes. Anyways, backing up, that was kind of my thought process. Oh wait, I didn't finish that thought. Wow, I'm all over the map. I am considering making a video that's like why I changed my mind on having kids. Because yeah, there was kind of a process there that took place. Anyways, backing up, I don't quite know where I veered off of this story, but I do remember I was going to say, in terms of being a mom and then calling my mom yesterday and telling her what I told Dan. I didn't expect, that was the point. Because I was never someone that dreamed really about having biological kids, us doing this, a part of the pie, so many reasons, but a part of the pie was me just being like, okay, I know I want a family, and so I want to get this show on the road. I didn't have that same desperation that a lot of women have when they want to have babies. It's like, I just want a baby. I didn't actively feel that. I kind of just felt like, okay, I'm going to do it because I know I don't want to be someone that doesn't have a family, but like, I really wish I could press pause on time and like not do this yet. But for a number of reasons, I just felt like I couldn't, like we needed to move forward. One of those being my chronic pain that is not getting better the older I get. So I was telling my mom, because I never daydreamed about having a baby, and I think because I didn't really spend much time around babies, I didn't know how high, like I didn't expect the highs that I would feel. So like am I going to get emotional? Doubtful, but I feel it at the, like, bubbling at the surface. The highs that I feel sometimes when looking at him, watching his development, watching him go from basically being a silent baby to like now trying to talk, like cooing and trying to connect, and looking into his eyes and seeing him learn how to smile and hugging him. Like, I didn't know how happy those moments would be. And I told Dan a few days ago, like, that's just what I kept saying. I was just like, I think it was after Logan, he's like really started to smile now, and he's starting like moving the direction of laughing, and his cooing or his talking has increased so much in the last like honestly, like week and a half. It's crazy.
Trying to look like your daddy, huh? Yeah. Gosh, it hurts. It hurts. You're so cute. Boop.
And I looked at Dan and I was like, I didn't know. And I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I just didn't know how happy that, like, how many happy moments I would have. And like I said, high happy moments, like some of the happiest moments I've had in recent memories, like just overflowing with like just happiness and excitement and joy and gratitude. Now I will say, if you were expecting me to say that I've also had the lowest lows, good news for you. That's not, I don't know why that's good news for you, but that's not true. I have not had the lowest lows. I have had lows. We're going to talk about that. But I've had lower lows in my life. I've struggled more. I've been much more sad before in my life. But I have had lows. So, sorry, texts are coming in and I'm getting distracted. So, for example, yesterday morning, and this is interesting because someone commented recently, they were like, a few of you guys have commented that you love that I'm actually taking care of myself. And I'm really trying because I'm very cognizant of the fact that like mom burnout is very real. And then on top of that, like I'm a little bit of a drama queen and like I'm dealing with a lot with my body. And so I don't want to freak out and explode and just burn out or whatever. Mom burnout, maybe that's not the right word, but you get what I'm saying. And so I'm trying to take care of myself. But even still, I'm sometimes doing what like someone in the comments was like, oh, it's so great that you don't like, how do I word this? You're not just like giving, overextending yourself. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to. But yesterday, we had a rough night the night before with Logan's sleep. Like he was just a little more, he wasn't falling into those deep sleeps that night for some reason. And so we were up a lot. And then around 6:30 in the morning, Logan refused to go back to sleep. If you know anything about me and Dan, you know that we're late sleepers. So this has been an adjustment. But I, noticed he wasn't going back to sleep. He sleeps in the bed with us in Snuggle Me Organic. And as is very typical, my ears are a lot more sensitive than Dan's ears are. Meaning like it's typical, I think, for the mom to be like that compared to the dad. And I was like, he's up, I can't sleep. And he's about to escalate. Like I can tell when he's going to escalate in his crying or whatever, noises. And so I was like, you know what? I'm so tired, but Dan's tired too. So like, I'm going to let him sleep and I'm going to get up and take care of Logan. So I got up and Logan and I went and took a shower and he was nice and calm in the shower and kind of getting sleepy. So we got out and I was like, maybe he'll go back to sleep. Laid him down. I crawled into bed. The minute when I laid my head down, he started crying. So I get up, I bring him into the office and I'm like, okay, I will sit down with him at the computer, have my boppy, feed him. If I want to and can get a little work done, I'll do that too. And he started eating, fell asleep within like 5 minutes, was out. And I was like, okay, he's out. I can go back to sleep. So I bring him back to the bed. It wasn't 5 minutes. I'm being dramatic, but it was fast-ish. Lay him down in his bed, go take off my shoes. I'm always wearing my Crocs around the house, climb into bed. The minute I laid my head down on the pillow, he's back to crying. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get up, go take him out of bed. Same thing. I feed him again. He's like excited to be eating, ends up falling back asleep. Bring him back to bed, lay him down, crawl in bed. The minute I lay my head on the pillow. This happened 4 times. And after the 4th time, I come over to get him and I'm sitting here. And so Logan sleeps over here and Dan is there. And I'm sitting next to Logan trying to like burp him, figure out what's going on. And I just lose it. I'm sobbing. And Dan wakes up and he's like, whoa, what is going on? Basically, he ends up taking Logan. It's a whole thing. He's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I've been with him for 3.5 hours. He's like, and I'm like, you don't understand. And I ended up like, this is kind of a side note. I write letters a lot to Dan if I'm trying to explain a larger thought. I need kind of time to process. I'll write the letter, send it to him. So I ended up like writing him this letter and just kind of recapping everything I'm feeling about like, dude, I'm still recovering So I'm still, which we're going to talk about that too, like my recovery process, what that has been like. It's a trip. I was like, I'm still recovering. I'm dealing with my old injuries that I've dealt with forever, like my normal chronic pain. On top of that, I recently went back into my heel lift, which you will only know what that means if you're like an OG follower. I went back into my heel lift, which might have been stupid to do during postpartum, but it's adding a different level kind of pain now. I was like, I'm trying to be a mom. I'm also feeling like kind of a little bit like crap mentally at some points if I'm tired because of what that person was saying in the beginning of the comments. Wow, I feel like I'm talking so fast in this video. I'm sorry. Let me back up. I feel like crap a little bit sometimes because of what that person was saying in the comments about hurting when they change their baby's diaper, or basic things. That's how I am. Like, doing basic things hurts. And so sometimes I find myself avoiding doing them because I'm just like, I don't want to bend over like that again. It hurts. And okay, we're going to circle back to that because I have a lot to say around that. But to finish this story, I wrote down this letter. I ended up sleeping from 10:30 to 2 yesterday, which was amazing. It felt great. But yeah, I don't even remember why I just went off on that rant other than to say that I've had that was why. So I've had some lows. That was what I was saying. I've had some of the highest highs I've ever had in my life since having Logan. I had no idea that a baby could bring so much joy and awe and excitement and happiness. My brain wants to explode sometimes because I'm just so overwhelmed. But then I have had lows, and that was the point, was to give you a little insight. When he woke up, I was a sobbing mess. And I've had a couple of days like that where I'm just a sobbing mess. Is it something that happens all the time? No. I would say on average, it has been happening about maybe once a week. Maybe. I know it happened last week. I just feel like that's the average of where I'll hit my limit and I just am emotionally done. So now I want to back up to what the person was saying about hurting doing basic things. And I'm just kind of talking. I don't know. Maybe I'll edit this out. Maybe this won't mean or anything to any of you guys or matter, or maybe it'll be annoying. But I relate to that so hardcore. Dan has really, he's an equal caregiver to Logan as to just like I am. I can't say that I am more of a caregiver to him than Dan is. And some days I would almost argue that Dan is more of a caregiver to Logan than I am. We really, not to use an analogy of a volleyball, we're just passing him off, but it kind of is like that sometimes. It just depends what each of us have planned for the day and how I'm feeling physically. Dan knows that some days it's you're really going to have to help me because I can't get him up and down the stairs. I really can't do a whole lot of bending over. I can, but it's a lot of pain, and then my mood just gets worse. That's the thing. I feel like I spend a lot of time psyching myself up, reminding myself of the truths of how blessed I am to even have all of my limbs and to be able to walk. Geez, the amount of suffering that people go through in the world compared to what I'm going through is just it's not even in the same atmosphere, galaxy. I think that's the word I wanted to say. So I am able to stay in a good state of mind often because I remind myself of those truths that I am so unbelievably grateful for. But when you get tired and when the pain gets overwhelming, and if you deal with chronic pain, I always joke, it's I would imagine a kid going, Mom, Mommy, Mama, Mom, Mom. And you're yeah, hold on, okay, And then you might just explode. That's kind of what chronic pain is like. You can kind of stay in a mentally good place until you can't, and then it's just how much can you bounce back from that? How fast can you bounce back? How well, whatever. So I wanted to say that because I just felt it made me sad. I wanted that person to know that I understand, and I didn't want them to be because I've looked at other people before on YouTube. I don't do it very often because I try not to, and I remind myself that videos are just art. You're just seeing a certain perspective. But I've thought that before when I've seen other people doing things, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I not have it more together? Or like, I wish, even if I'm not beating myself up like that, it'll just be like, I wish I could do that. And so I just felt this need to explain to you that like, I'm kind of right there with you. The difference is, and this is the part that I was like, am I going to delete that? Is that I have Dan all day, every day. And this is something I keep saying, this is the part I might delete. This is what I was hesitant to say. But I don't know, maybe this will be helpful to someone. And if you don't have kids, maybe this will put kind of some thoughts in your head, or I don't even really know if there's any point. But I've had chronic pain for a really long time. Like basically since I was around 14 is when problems started happening in my joints, and I've not had any relief pretty much since then. So because of that, I have had this goal and thought and vision in my mind of wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, but also wanting to have some kind of creative outlet job because I love creating, and also in that same vein, hoping that that job could make enough money to have my husband stay home and work with me. Not only because I just thought it would be fun to be, around him more, whoever my husband ended up being one day, but also, oh my gosh, the bug is back on my wall. But also from the perspective of, yes, dealing with pain, having physical help from a husband would be nice. And also, I remember growing up, and I don't think I'm like outing my parents on the internet. I think I've told them this, and I think I've said this to you guys, but if not, no offense, mom and dad, this isn't bad. It's just an observation I made. I remember thinking when I was little that I wanted my dad around more. I remember being like, I wish my dad could be home more. And I vibed that he wanted to be home more because he would say it. And that was really why he was working so hard, was that in his mind, he was building to a goal so he could be home more. So there was that. And B, I remember feeling like my mom would have enjoyed having a creative outlet as well. So getting to be a mom and take care of us and take care of the home. But I knew, or I felt like she needs some other project as well that isn't having to do with the kids. And so I remember growing up thinking, that's what I want one day. Like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I also want to have some kind of creative job. And so fast forwarding to now, I mean, dude, that is why every video, all my day of my life, I feel like I'm always like, thank you guys. At the end, I'm like, thank you so much for supporting my family, because I'm so grateful. There are no words. But I say all of that to kind of lead into, I've talked to a lot of people. I don't even know how to quite word this. I've got a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. And so many of them never really gave any thought to the kind of life they hoped to create when they were parents, when they had kids. They didn't really have any kind of plan. And now I always joke, it's not a joke, that God's plans are better than ours, and we really don't have, in my opinion, control. You still make decisions day to day. And, I think that there's still a point to set goals and work towards things. And I have been working towards this for a very long time, half of my life, prior to YouTube even being a thing. This was the vision and the goal. And so I guess, like, if you don't have kids, first off, I want to say, like, envision, like, what are you wanting? Even if you're wanting, like, I don't know, the opposite of me, or you're like, I know I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I don't want any of the pressure of working or any of that. That's a vision, and that's something that is worth knowing for yourself when you are going into building a family or looking for a husband or whatever. But if you are someone that, wants what I was describing, what my dream was, and I feel like I'm living now, that is worth stewing on, because you can take action steps in that direction. If something is in your mind, if you know what you want, you can kind of move that direction. And if that's what God has for you and that's what's supposed to be, then that'll be what it is. But I guess really also the point of all of that was to say that if you watch my videos and my day-to-day life looks, like just flawless and effortless and chill or whatever, that is a part of my life. But a big reason that I even have that as part of my life is because I have a full-time partner all day, every day. And my tune would probably be different if I didn't, because my pain would definitely be exasperated physically. And it would just be different. But I have someone that is an equal caretaker to my son. I have my husband. I don't know why I worded it that way, but you get what I'm saying. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. Like I said, I don't know if any of that is helpful or encouraging or anything, but I wanted to address it. So let me look at my notes and see what I want to cover next. Okay, so as far as my postpartum healing, I've gotten a lot of questions about my stomach as well as my vag. And so I'm going to cover both of those right now. I don't know why I just gave that random little intro. My tummy. My tummy has shrunk down. I'll show you right now. I have eaten, so it's going to be a little more full than it was before. But my tummy has basically shrunk back down. It's a little more full, but it's pretty small. I'd say really I still have that line a little bit. That's funny. I'd say really what the recovery is in my stomach is going to be re-strengthening my abs, because I definitely have, I can grab my skin a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, and it's looser. Everything, it's kind of like my skin and my abs, maybe. I don't know. It's like it feels detached, like it's like it used to be together and like it's separated or something. So that's still a thing. That's still healing. I haven't really started working out per se, because my day-to-day is a workout. So when I'm doing baby things, this is like a stupid example, but this will paint it crystal clear. We store all of the breast milk that I pump in our upstairs fridge, which, side note, I am very excited to film the breastfeeding journey video, because it has been a journey. Like, so much has gone down in the last 2 months. I still breastfeed. I'm not going to go off on that right now, but I pump mostly, and it mostly has to do with my body pain, my chronic pain, because getting a 10-pound baby set up, even with all of the right equipment, can be painful on like your shoulders and your back and all of that. Anyways, we store the milk in this upstairs fridge. You didn't need to know where it was, but it's low and it's on the ground. And so when I bend down, I line up for a proper squat, and I squeeze my glutes and I keep my back straight, and I do a full-on low squat. So I'm currently working out in a way, and this is kind of what I did from about my halfway point in my pregnancy to the end, because I felt like I couldn't do proper workouts anymore. I needed to just make my day-to-day workouts, or my day-to-day movements be my workout. That's kind of what I'm still doing. Actually, that's exactly what I'm still doing right now, is just making my day-to-day movements ergonomically correct. And I'm doing this thing right now where I'm trying to start activating my glutes better. So even when I'm up and I'm walking around, I'm very cognizant of squeezing my glutes. That's kind of a separate experiment that I'm doing right now. But yeah, why did I bring that up? Oh, because we're talking about recovery. So some of it's hard to tell how much of it is postpartum and how much of it is from putting my heel lift back in, because putting my heel lift back in, I feel that in my hip. And if you don't know what a heel lift is, it's literally just an insert you put in your shoe. I have it right here, to elevate your leg. Now, the one that I wore for 14 years was actually double this size, but I've been out of it now for 2.5 years. So I wanted to go back in slowly, because even going in with half of it, my body feels the difference. It changes everything. So it's hard to tell which is postpartum, which is that. But I will tell you, one of the postpartum recovery things I feel in my lower region, and then we'll talk about my vagina, is I literally feel the nerves, I don't even know what it would be, not coming back to life, but activating from about here all the way up to the outer muscles of my vagina. Does that make sense? That and down. And they will get more tired and shaky as the day goes on, and I'll feel them tingling. And I guess it's just a weakness that I didn't really notice was there. That's kind of the weird thing about being in a postpartum recovery state, is that, or in this mode, is that every day is different. every week is different, and it's almost like an onion, like peeling back layers. I didn't even notice that part of my body was like weak and recovering until like a week or so ago. And now I can always feel, I feel that I'm recovering down there. Now, as you guys know, I did not tear at all when I had Logan, which was amazing. We did a lot to hopefully prevent that. And I was hesitant to share the what I did to prepare for labor video, but I'm going to now. But I was hesitant because I'm not a doctor and because you never know. It's kind of like my body aches and pains. Like, I've done so many things and it hasn't worked. So sometimes things just are what they are. Or like when I used to have cystic acne, it was like years of trying everything and it didn't work. So sometimes you're just dealt the cards you're dealt, but I don't think that that's a reason to not try for something. And so I tried all the things and it turns out I had a short labor and I didn't tear. So was that just coincidence? Or was it because of the excessive amount of things that I did to prepare? I don't know, but I'm going to share all of those with you in an upcoming video because I did a lot of things. But yeah, I didn't tear. I will say 7 weeks out, I'm still loose down there. Like, actually, I don't know if this is TMI. It's not TMI, whatever. Dan literally, you saw Dan helping me birth my son. He was examining my vagina the other night for really the first time since the birth. Like, did he actually like get up close? And he was like, oh, yeah, you're loose. And I was like, dude, I feel like it's like this expanded hole. Is it? And he was like, yeah, dude, it is. So that's going to be an interesting thing with the recovery. Like when I take baths, I can feel bubbles like coming out of me because it's an open cavern or whatever the word is. And so the air is just like coming out. So I've been doing some Kegels. I have. But not like super religiously and excessively. So that'll be something that I have to start implementing more. It's just hard. You guys know, it's like implementing like a million different things. Like I was talking to my mom this morning and I was on FaceTime with her taking my minerals and she's like, oh good, you're taking your minerals. And I'm like, yes, it's just taken a while to like add that into the routine as well. Because when you're doing so many different things, it's like, it's just sometimes hard to get a new thing in. So that's the point. I'll be getting Kegels in there soon though, because I'm definitely loosey-goosey from pushing out my baby. So one other thing is weight, my postpartum body. So I talked a little bit about my belly and how it's shrunk. It gets bigger throughout the day. So if I eat a big meal by the end of the day, I low-key look pregnant again. Not kidding. I've also gained weight. So I lost weight when I gave birth. Like a day or so later, I stepped on the scale. I was like, what the heck? Lost like 15 pounds. I gained like 25 over the course of my pregnancy, I think. But I've actually gained weight since then because if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me talk about this. My appetite is through the roof. Like my breastfeeding appetite is 10 times higher than my pregnancy appetite. I mean, you guys know I dealt with nausea the entire time during my pregnancy. So I think me eating so much now is a combination of A, I'm breastfeeding, so I'm making milk. But B, just like pure happiness of like after being nauseous for 9 months, not being nauseous anymore. So I've gained some weight and I mentioned in a previous video, I think it was in my FAQ, my Q&A video. I said that I don't really get too like upset about my body because I don't want to go there. Like I remember, I was telling my friend this yesterday. I remember before I had a child of my own, I would kind of low-key judge moms who would whine about their body after having a baby because I would be like, what are you like you're being such a whiner. You just had a baby. Like stop being so hard on yourself. You just need time. Like what are you whining about? And I still feel that way. So I try not to ever let myself slip into that judgmental headspace because the truth is I grew and delivered a baby and now I'm feeding a baby. And so there's a lot going on in my body and I need to just know that. But because I'm human, I have had a couple of moments of being like, what the heck? And it usually comes when I'm tired. So like yesterday when I had that crying fit, I was telling Dan, I'm like, I just feel flabby and chubby and I was upset about it. I, like I said, don't sit there very often because of the truths that I believe. But that has been hard at moments. The good thing is all my clothes still fit. Like I'm in I haven't tried on every piece of clothing in my closet by any means, but everything that I've worn so far from pre-pregnancy fits. Some of those things are a little tighter and a little less flattering, but it all fits. So I'm back to being able to wear that when I want to, which is, there's a lot of stuff in my closet though that I'm not even reaching for because I'm not really leaving my house much still. I'm pretty much still in lockdown because I'm still trying to get the hang of this momming thing. Where am I gonna go right now? Like, how I feel like we're like avoiding the coronavirus. But on top of that, it's like, dude, we had a tornado come through Nashville last week. Like, I haven't started going back to church yet because I don't want people like in my baby's face. And you have FaceTime, so you can catch up with people via voice message and FaceTime. So I haven't really had to wear any of my structured clothes much, but I put on my jeans. And the pair that I put on from Madewell, it's a stretchy pair, totally fit and looked great. So even though I've gained weight, it's not like an excessive amount. I am currently sitting at about 10 to 13-ish pounds heavier than I was pre-pregnancy. I think that's pretty normal. I've heard people say, even my sister-in-law said she couldn't get rid of the last 10 pounds until she was done breastfeeding. So I've heard people say that your body holds on to those last 10 pounds if you're breastfeeding, or some people, it does that. Some people I've heard get the thinnest that they've ever been in their life when they're breastfeeding. But that's currently not me. So talk to me in a couple months. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think one of the last things I wanted to talk about, was kind of like my own experience and kind of a reminder to you as well if you're dealing with it, if you're in postpartum, and that is to be easy on yourself. That can be a hard line to walk because if you're like me, you want to do all of the things that are right. You want to be responsible. You want to do the best you can for your baby. But I think it's important to remember, like, your body, my body, has gone through so much over the last 10 months, and it can be easy to fall into the mindset of like not only wanting to do everything perfectly, but also a sense of like wanting to regain normalcy and have what you had before, like back on my routine, back in my pattern or whatever. And the thing that I think I keep reminding myself, that I want you to remind yourself, is that this period of time is short. Everybody says it. The days are long, the months are short, the years are short. And to see how much Logan has already grown in such a short period of time is a very harsh reminder of that. I always look at my baby and I'm like, my baby's so big now. He's growing up so fast. And it's true. So you have to remind yourself, like I have to remind myself, this is a season, and to have grace on, your healing journey, to have grace on yourself while learning how to be a mom. I mean, I didn't know anything about babies. We're going to talk about this in the update with Logan, but like, we didn't know, for example, you have to burp the crap out of a baby after they eat. You have to get a burp out. So there are like so many basic things that we didn't know that we kind of had to learn the hard way, or just through experience. And that's part of what makes, I think, this newborn process, especially I would imagine the first time around, very tiring, because not only are you dealing with a human with their own specific needs and emotions and, all of that, but also if you've never been a parent before, or you've never really been into babies before, you don't know anything. I didn't know anything. And it's fine because it's all kind of worked out exactly as I thought, in the sense that like I didn't really do much breastfeeding research, for example, prior to having him, because I was like, I will do the research and figure it out when I get there. Prior to having him, all of my thoughts were on getting through labor and delivery. Like that was my focus, was learning everything I could to set myself up for success. And I knew, okay, once I have him, it'll shift then probably to the newborn parenting stuff. And that is what has happened and what has unfolded. My mind has been submersed, if that's the word, just like into the world of newborn care now, and learning all about that and implementing all of those things. And so, if you're like me, just take it one step at a time, give yourself some grace, and know that, maybe some of these people that breeze through postpartum on the internet, or looks like that, they might be breezing through postpartum. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, you know, you don't know, like on the other side, like they're suffering, they're dealing with this. Maybe some people aren't. Maybe it is easier for some people, you know, but life is also harder for some people. Like, there's just kind of a spectrum. So I try to remind myself that my journey is my journey. My recovery is my recovery. And I want to just focus on the beautiful things and experiences that I'm having day to day with my son, and soak it all in as much as I can and be gentle with myself. And I want the same thing for you. So on that note, I know I'm forgetting stuff. I just can't think of what else I want to talk about. And those are kind of the end of my jotted down notes. But I hope that this was helpful, interesting, encouraging. I don't know. I'm always a little paranoid after filming a chatty video that I didn't actually get to any point or say anything worth saying. But yeah, as I'm saying all this, I will say, no, I'm going to talk about that in the breastfeeding video. I'm not going to go off on that. I'll talk about diet and all of that in the breastfeeding video. I'm going to go now. Let me know down below if you have any other questions that I can answer in the comments, or screenshot and take into another video, or just have for myself to answer in another video. I read almost all of your comments. I feel like I'm on the Creator app reading comments frequently. So you can let me know. And if you're hearing me talk, check the info box. Like, if you're still here, you haven't clicked out, check the info box, because I do giveaways in pretty much all of my videos. I just don't like announce it in the title, as a way to say thank you to those of you that make it to the end and listen, or expand my info box. You will see it. I get sent so many products that I can't ever possibly use all of them. So we donate some of them, give them to friends and family, and then I do mystery boxes to you guys as a way to say thank you for your support and engagement with my work, my art. So that's it, guys. Oh, speaking of which, my shirt. This is my merch. If you didn't know that, this is one of the colors and styles that I have. Yes, it matches my tattoo. And this is symbolic of James 1:27 for me, because there are 3 things that the verse mentions. And it's just kind of become my thing, my life verse, I guess you could say. And that's what this is. But I have that linked in the info box down below if you want to check that out as well. That's it. I don't know why I'm still blabbering. I'm going to drink my tea and go now. But I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll hopefully see you back here soon with another new video. All right. Bye, guys.